Hi, and welcome to this webisode, Mr. Wilson Teaches Finnish Stars. Today I'm going to be showing you how to create a Finnish star, which is a decorative holiday piece they make in Finland. It's pretty simple. The supplies you're going to need is regular construction paper, and these are all cut to 1/4 of an inch thin. You're going to need 12 pieces of those. You're going to need Elmer's glue stick, a hole punch, and some string, and then we'll cut right into how to fold it and how to put it together. So the first thing we're going to do is take 2 of our construction paper strips and our regular just Elmer's glue, and we're going to try to get the center, if we're able to, and just put a little dot there. We're going to make a perfect cross or an X, and this is going to be the base for everything else to go off of. And we're actually going to do this twice, and I'm going to be using yellow for both bases so that it's easier for me to explain it, but you can choose any colors, it doesn't really matter. And once you get better at this, you'll start to figure out the different patterns to use. And now we have our 2 sides, so 2 different bases. The next step we're going to be doing is putting on our next construction strips. And to this we want a little mark, probably about 1/2 inch on each side. And for this side I'm going to be using red. You can see it runs parallel to the front one. So it's going straight up and down. And I'm going to be doing the same thing on the opposite side. And for this one I'm going to be using green. So one side of my star is going to be green, the other side is going to be red. And then with that yellow in the center. Notice how all the ends are also lined up. You want them to be the same length. And I'm going to be flipping both of these over, and I'm going to be creating a box window effect by adding 3 stripes of glue and taking my next 2 red and completing the same process. So laying it across, it's about 1/4 of an inch away, and that's where that window shape comes in. And I found the closer you space them, usually the easier. If they go too far out, then you're not going to be able to get the folding of the star down as well. And I'm also using purple glue on this so you can see where I'm putting these marks. Alright, so the next part is what I consider probably to be the most confusing. This is the creating each of the wings of the star. So it's easiest if you look at it like an X, and then you follow up to the furthest, so the 3rd one on the left side, and put a small dab of glue. And then wherever there's a V, those are the parts that you're going to connect. So I face it at me, face it away, and then hook it together. And then pinch tight so that it creates a bond. And then you can do the same thing. So 3rd one, dab of glue. There's a V, so now I can connect those 2. So notice the regular cross we started with hasn't done anything. When you fold these 2, it's really common to do that by accident. Make sure you shoot it away from you, and then hook it together and they come to that perfect point, or else they won't give you the star effect. And then I sort of just rotate this around and do the same thing to each one. And continue, face it at me, shoot it away, pinch it, and then move on to the next one. So the original cross, nothing happens to that. There's one side. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with my green side. And this is the faster way if you know which is going to be folded. So I only have to glue the one time. Anywhere there's V, face it towards me, shoot it away. Sometimes they don't stick together all that well. You gotta make sure you pinch down, put the right amount of glue. Alright, so now we have 2 different sides that are exactly the same. The next step is combining the 2. So I start by flipping them both over and adding glue onto the back side of each petal. So each little star wing gets some glue on the back of it. And normally you'd want to put down some paper so you don't get all over your table, depending on how careful you are with the glue. Okay, so both of my sides now have the glue on it, and I'm going to flip one back over, and these have to be embedded into each other. So normally this is how they would go, but I'm going to rotate just a touch and slide it down so that it's going every other. So red, green, red, green, red, green. And then I'm going to take these yellow parts, tuck it under, and because there's already glue on there, all I have to do is pinch it down. So you want a little bit of that yellow to shoot out. It won't line up perfectly unless you had already pre-cut your size to do that. So now I'm connecting each side together. And then I'm going to flip it over. And I have to do the same thing, connect, pinch, and there's already glue there, so it should be fine. I'm sort of just letting these yellow ones fall where they may. You can always trim those and do what you want with them. So some of them might be a little longer, some might be shorter. And that's the finished star. And then I'm going to take my hole punch. Usually I try to find whatever happened to be the longest one, and it looks like this is it. I'm going to add a hole on the top. Then I'm going to take my string. I'm going to be cutting down the size of it. And I string it through. You can tie whatever knot you'd like. And you can always trim it as well. And then for the top knot, let's make sure this goes from the top. Usually fold it over. And now pull it through. That way I have a loop, and then you can hang it however you like. So that's the finished star. And these you can do in any size. It just depends on how you want to cut the paper. But it's always the same. And you can also experiment around with adding more petals and figuring out how to go from there, experimenting with colors and patterns to create your own. So best of luck.